everyone. I decided, and I've had a day or two out. I had to leave the city and just go out into where my studio is at Wood End, which is out of my 25k, but I just said that the person who rents is my partner, so I got out there. I had to for my mental health, honestly. I know that we're all doing it hard with COVID, and there are different places in the world. I think Rachel was saying she's gone back into maybe having a curfew at night in Italy. You know, it's hard on a lot of us. It's hard on a lot of us that like all different freedoms, you know, even if it's just the freedom to visit friends. So I found that I was getting more and more into a slump about it, and I was getting less and less inspired, and I think also because of my thumb and not being able to, you know, grip a pen or a paintbrush, that I was getting a bit down about that. I can still sew, so the sewing project's been going well. But anyway, I don't have to want to have a big whinge about it, but I think it's actually good to share this stuff so we don't hang on to it ourselves, but also so others know that they're not the only person going through the rubbish that we are going through this year. You know, 2020, as I've often said, can just F off as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, what I've got here, now Nicholas Wilton is doing a 5-day, it's actually for beginners, but you know, I've been watching a few people that say this is for beginners, and Marguerite the other day I was watching, she was talking about collage for beginners, and it's like, oh, I've been doing this for 30 or 40 years. There's still something to learn. There's no problem about having something to learn, you know, we all have something to learn still, and it's better to be humble about that. So anyway, Nicholas is running this 5-day thing where we're just going to explore some things. So I thought I'd actually explore my 5 days and talk about it as I go through. It doesn't have to be a long project. If you look up Nicholas Wilton Art 2, as in a 2 life, on Facebook, you'll probably be able to find the 5-day grain of sand or something, I think it's called. I don't know, I didn't write it down, I've forgotten already. Anyway, today is day 1, and it's about experimentation, which is something I love to do. It's all about, for me, creativity and play, especially when I do my mixed media, you know, my journal, my mixed media journal. It's not about having a thought ahead of time, it's about just exploring and seeing what happens. Doesn't matter if there's a mistake, doesn't matter if it looks not the way you expected it to look. It's actually about the journey, not the ending. So as Anne talks about all her sewing work, Anne Brooke, that's to do with being soulful. So for Anne, her particular capacity is to sew and play with textiles and come up with ideas and teach about that. So she's being very soulful in herself when she does that. So I've had a bit of thought this year about this soulful thing and what works for me, and I know that a lot of doing art a lot works for sure, crafting and arting. So the word, we had to come up with a word, and I know that Nicholas's word was space, but because I went out to Wood End and I just sat in the garden and I did nothing and I listened to the birds, I realised that I was missing space myself. So that is actually my word too. Sorry, Nicholas, but you don't own the word. Space. So that's my word. So I'm going to do as best as I can to not do a super long mixed media piece, but try to just look at the principles Nicholas is talking about when he does his work. So I've decided, I just found this, when I go to Wood End I can go to the op shop, so I'm very happy about that because ours are still closed in the inner metropolitan Melbourne. I found this gorgeous book, isn't it great? So even though I'm starting a new book, I should just be using my mixed media book. no, this is what I'm doing. I'm just starting here on this page. So even though I love collage and I love mixed media and I love doing abstract paint, I think this is going to just be what I've got here. Like I'm not going to go outside of what I can grab, and I haven't even organised anything. So this is going to actually be what's close at hand. So this will be interesting. So with the thought of space. So I've got a bit of a dictionary page. I've got all my different glues here, so whatever is going to work. So I hope everyone's really well today. It's going to be odd to do a 5-day thing. I mean, I haven't really been sort of, the sewing project has been, I've been doing it every day, but it hasn't been consistent in terms of uploading videos, that's for sure. So one of the things, I was just really enjoying out at Wood End the plants and the flowers and just that sense of stillness, listening to the birds. Just going to wipe that glue off my hand. A sense of peace, stillness, and just very comfortable, because when I visit my friend Nathan, I've known him for maybe, I don't know, 6 to 8 years perhaps. And you know, it's always very comfortable when you've known someone for quite a while. You're a lot more comfortable with them and comfortable sharing. What else is here? A bit of a flower here. That's nice. Right, I'm not going to fussy cut because obviously it actually takes a little bit of time that takes away the spontaneity. It's all right if you're doing a specific piece, of course. Actually, I'm going to take that off. And that's the look you want. But the thing about play and creativity and exploration is, I think what I want to say is that what can get us caught is just being in our heads a bit too much about the whole thing, and you lose that sense of play and exploration. Yeah, no, that's where that's going. I do have some paint here. Well, what I don't have is any hand towel, because I just ran out the other day. Right, this is this is using a coloured gesso. So the pages will buckle up, the pages will move because it's wet, bits of glue will lift, etc. This is going to be a challenge. What have I actually got on my table that I didn't realise, you know, I could have used, and sitting right there, and what actually am I going to want to go and grab that is out of range, that I think I can absolutely not live without it in this moment in time. Right. Do I have water? Yes, I do. I wonder if I've got a spare paintbrush. Set myself a challenge. Nope. Alright. So, you know what? I'm going to use the paintbrush I've got here. Oh, I just found something else that might be fun to use. Some offcuts of one of my new kits that's coming up. That's nice. That's good green. Oops, sorry about the banging. It's probably not dry, but that's just how it goes. This moment. So I've been thinking still a little bit more about Anne with her sewing and talking about negative space, and I've been thinking about some of the words that someone I follow on Instagram, Natalie Adamio, I think. I just love her attitude and the things she says when she does a live. Now I've got some gold. Look at that. How nice is that? I already ruined it with my brush. But that doesn't matter, does it? No judgment. Like that. Now, as that's drying, I'm just thinking about a few more bits of paper. Now, so I think about space, and I don't have to think about space the same way that Nick does. What am I thinking when I think about space? Alright, I found these. I actually did want to put one of these in. When I was at the op shop, I found all these in there. I have no idea what they're from, but they look like little magnets. So there are little letters and words. I don't know if it's actually something that someone will recognise and say, oh, that's a kit. Like space to me, that reminds me of space. Maybe they just stuck things down onto magnet and then just decided not to use them, or maybe it was something they used for their children. Anyway, I don't know. There's some eyes. What about that? What's this pink one? $2 for a bag of these from the op shop. How's that? A thimble. Funny little things. Map of Canada. Or flag, Canada flag. Little animals. X. C for Christina. Maybe I should put that in because I want some space. Little animals. Right, let's work with those. So close by I also have this little book that arrived in the mail, which is all those, you know, the little, what's this stuff called? It's not, I don't think it's stickers, I think it's just vellum, printed vellum. It's like a whole pad of them. How good is that? Let's see if we can find one that I feel relates to space. Go with Coke. No thanks. Space. Oh, there's so many to look through. Oh, here's one with butterflies, because we've got a butterfly. Alright, let's see where they're going first. I just wonder, is it a sticker or not? No, doesn't. No, it's too thin. No, it's too thin to be a sticker. Butterfly. Butterfly. I'll use the fabric fix for bonding. So for me also a sense of space comes from, as I was away, the greenness of sitting out in the, you know, quite a large bit of land and enjoying the trees and the flowers and the grass, because where I live, I'm in a block of townhouses, so you know, this area that I live in, they've slowly cut down nearly every tree to build all these townhouses, so I feel sometimes a little bit hectic and disconnected. Maybe I'll just use someone here too. Alright, so as I look at this, I have a sense of calm. So I'm actually thinking my word not only could be space, but the word calm. I'm just going to write that down because that makes sense to me today. Today, that's another word for me. Calm. All the frazzle that's going on around us. Every level and layer of people's stress. Here we go. Now it needs something else. Well, I said I was going to only use what I had at hand. I know I can see my crayons and they're actually out of reach. So even though I want to go and get them, I'm going to stick with what I set myself. Actually, Nicholas would probably say, go and get them! But, you know, today, that's a task. These are the things we do that unlock our creativity. We just decide we're going to create these little, well, they're kind of rules, aren't they? You don't want to necessarily keep stuck with rules so much, but this is part of exploring, having a play, setting yourself a limit or a boundary. My reach. Alright, so I got a bag of buttons. No, don't want buttons. Okay. What else is in reach that I got? Got some. Got a set of these. I'm just thinking that I kind of want to focus on those eyes for a minute. What are they doing? I'll take this off to cut. These are like little, I don't know, old vintage napkins of some description. I do like that. I like the idea of framing those. So what do you think? What do you think if you, of course, if you're going to play along or go over and join Nicholas, you'll come up with your own word, of course. But what does space mean to you? That's a question. So if I dive deeper into what space means to me and what do those eyes mean? Well, for me, space also means just that sense of your own listening, your own hearing, hearing your own intuition. not being continually bombarded and snowed under with other people's stuff. Alright, found a pen. How's this going to look? Alright. Put a bit of a border around there. So, a little bit more about space. I don't feel that, I feel it's become very uniform now, and so not necessarily spacious. There's not much in the way of contrast. So, there we are, there's a bit of that. I'm just looking at it because I'm going, I want to do this, that and the other, but I've set myself this task of not being able to do particular things, and that's okay. Maybe it's done. You know, there are things I'd like to do. I think this added enough contrast to the rest of the page to give a little bit of space. Probably it needs another little bit. And here. And I dislike that intensely, so I'm covering it over. Sometimes we don't like the bits in our work, and that's okay too. had that ripped. Alright, I'm going to just take off these edgy bits, get it all nice and frayed. Cover that. So as we assess our piece, we just keep on looking, how do I change it? How do I improve it? I often ask the question, how do I improve this? Or what's missing? Or I'm just asking myself. And so once again, about space and listening to our own voice, our own inner voice. That's what you're doing. You're asking yourself, what's missing? What can I add? Love that bit of material there in the middle. Now you can tell I've slowed down and I've gone into a little bit more of that inner dialogue, and I'm not speaking as much. My inner dialogue is looking, the inner critic is saying, well, that could be better or that could be better. This is not the idea of this particular 5-day compass purpose. So I'm going to also write down on my sheet, shut up, inner critic. That's what I'm writing. So even though there's probably a lot more I could do to that, I did actually use what was around me and I set myself that task. I've picked out the words space and calm, and I've started to judge it and told my inner critic to just shut up and just be happy. Obviously we have a discerning eye, so we can look at things and go, okay, I could improve that or I could improve that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it is an inner critic that actually then just brings up your doubt and insecurities about what you're doing, shut up, inner critic. That's my thought. So I'm going to leave it at this. This is it for today. This is a 5-day journey, and I see, I just saw something I needed to do. This always, every time. How do you know your piece is finished? Look at this. I just saw caper. Who likes capers? I love capers. Right, so I just have my dictionary pages here. And you know what? It actually really doesn't have anything to do with calm or space. Probably if I was going to be super fussy about it, I would have got a dictionary page that made sense. But this just jumped out. It said, put me on the page, and I went, sure, I'll put you on the page. Here you go. There. Right. There. And now, aside from this area, I'd like to do something in this area. However, unless I'm prepared to use this. Alright. I never can finish a piece in time. I can't do a short video to save my life. I'm not editing this one either. I edit all the other ones right down. Speed up bits, etc. This is not what I'm doing with this one. This is the long play. And the other interesting thing is that now I actually feel warmed up to do a piece. So it's like it started to get my ideas flowing and my creativity flowing. once I was doing a class with Yvonne Odette, I think the name was. It was a long time ago, who is an abstract artist in Melbourne, and she always had us do little warm-up exercises, which were just starting and having a play and seeing what happens. All right, now I am happy with that. Happy with that enough to put it down and go off and do something else now. That's better. That was the icing on the cake, that little bit there. So I hope, look, honestly, I just want to say to those who've been watching the channel and the subscribers and the people who comment, I'm so grateful for you. It's really lovely, and I hope that you come along for this little 5 days if you want to. If you don't want to do it with me, pop over to Nicholas's page and have a look. Otherwise, this is my thing for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.